Poets Society. Writing on the Wall encourages community engagement and encouragement. Sorry, it's bright light, it's just dazzling me a bit. Oh. No, I can't block it out, can I? Sorry. Anyway, writing on the wall encourages community and individual empowerment through creativity. And we run lots of writing projects throughout the year. And we also have, as a result of the writing projects, a number of anthologies that are for sale at the end of the evening if you're interested in having a look at them. But the other thing we've done for the past 20 years is run an annual literary festival. It includes things like the readings we're going to hear tonight. We have author interviews, we have walking tours, we have panel discussions. And we've done this for the month of May, as I say, for the past 20 years. But of course, this year we are not the only festival in town, which is why we really welcome this opportunity to showcase the poetry of Ukrainians. I think we're in for a real treat tonight. I think it's going to be a very exciting evening. We're going to hear some very powerful work from significant poets, both local and from Ukraine, and we're going to hear them in both languages. And now, to speak on behalf of the Association of Ukrainians in Britain, I'd like to introduce Lena.
Hello everybody, my name is Mikalina Kukharchuk. I am a member of the Association Ukrainian in Great Britain Liverpool branch, and today I'm really honored to be here at such event. So I want to say big thank you for this event. And so a year ago probably I couldn't believe that I could be here in the heart of Liverpool and that we will be reading Ukrainian poems, so it's really amazing. And so thank you so much for this event. It's it's like very warm and event for Ukrainian people, and it gives some like domestic warmth, like warmth of neighbor home. So thank you so much for this. Thank you.
Hi everybody, I'm Floyd Kennedy, member of the Dead Blue Poets Society of Liverpool, and just a brief introduction as to how this all came about. It was when I heard about that Eurovision was coming here. What? Yes, and I thought, wouldn't it be great to hear some Ukrainian poetry in the middle of all that madness? So I started trying to contact them, and fortunately I managed to do so. Also managed to be put in touch by Reverend Dr. Taras Homage with the people from AUGB, including Lena, who is Michalina, actually. And I didn't get your second name, but Michalina I've been working on. A fabulous name. And she is a linguist and a translator. She'll be translating for us when necessary during the evening. So here we are. Thanks to the wonderful support from Writing on the Wall.
We're going to kick off with, I have to get back to my spot to change the slide. We're going to kick off with a poem from Ukraine's national poet, the father of Ukrainian literature, Taras Shevchenko. This is a poem called Testament. I'm going to invite Christina, Lena, Artem, and Christina's son, whose name I've... Bogdan, thank you, to come up, and they're going to recite it for you. Now, this is a poem that Ukrainian children learn at school. They know it off by heart, but they don't necessarily remember it when they grow up. But it's very, very, very dear to their hearts. It was written when Shevchenko was about 31, and he had a terrible flu or something, and he thought he was dying. But in fact, he lived for another 20-odd years. So I shall vacate the stage to make room for them.
Як умру, то поховайте мене на могилі, серед степу широкого на Вкраїні милі, що плани широкополі і Дніпро і кручі, було видно, було чути, як реве ревучий.
Як понесе з України у синє море кров ворожу, отоді я і лани, і гори все покину.
Все покинув і полинув до самого Бога молитися, а до того я не знаю Бога.
Поховайте та вставайте, кайдани порвіте, і вражою злою кров'ю волю окропіте. А мене в сім'ї великій, в сім'ї вольній, новій, не забудьте пом'янути незлим тихим словом.
Just for those few of you who actually are not fluent in Ukrainian, I'm going to read the poem in English. Testament by Taras Shevchenko. When I die, then make my grave high on an ancient mound in my own beloved Ukraine, in steppe-land without bound, whence one may see wide-skirted wheatland, Dnipro's steep cliff shore, there whence one may hear the blustering river wildly roar. Till from Ukraine to the blue sea it bears in fierce endeavour the blood of foemen. Then I'll leave wheatland and hills forever, leave all behind, store up until before the throne of God I'll make my prayer, for till that hour I shall know naught of God. Make my grave there, and arise, sundering your chains, bless your freedom with the blood of foemen's evil veins. Then, in that great family, a family new and free, do not forget, with good intent, speak quietly of me.
A song about love from the repertoire of Ukrainian singer Kvitka Tsisek. Kvitka Tsisek became world famous in the 1980s, who lived in the USA, worked with the largest companies of that time, and until her death was the only voice of the music production of the automobile company Ford. But her work was banned in the Soviet Union. Тече річка невеличка з вишневого саду, кличе козак дівчиноньку собі на пораду. Гей, гей, зелений гай, кличе козак дівчиноньку собі на пораду. Порадь мені, дівчинонько, що маю робити, чи з тобою женитися, чи другу любити. Гей, гай, зелений гай, чи з тобою женитися, чи другу любити. А я тобі, козаченьку, раджу та й не раджу. Я з тобою вечір стою, а за другим гляджу. Гей, гай, зелений гай, я з тобою вечір стою, а за другим гляджу. Бодай тебе, дівчинонько, з твоєю радою, я до тебе щирим серцем, а ти з неправдою. Гей, гай, зелений гай, я до тебе щирим ти з неправдою. Thank you.
I'm carrying our bundle of grief in a crowded street. My grief is crying, stained, and the passers-by are annoyed. Console your grief, stop this lamenting, cover it to make it warm, feel it and rock it to sleep. Grief is grief, everyone has it. My grief is pressing, is burning, forehead against my chest. In its eyes, thousands of us massacred. Here and now, keep crying, my grief, cry.
Now I would like to read the same poem in Ukrainian for that people who is not fluent in English. Несу наше горе у сповитку, велелюдною вулицею. Горе надсадно кричить, перехожі дратуються. Вгамуйте своє горе, годі йому голосити, вкрийте його тепліше, нагодуйте, приспіть. Горе, як горе, у кого його не було? Горе горне мені до грудей гаряче чоло. У горя в очах тисячі розтерзаних нас, тут і зараз. Кричи, моє горе, кричи.
This is Christia Vengrunyuk that I'm introducing now, and the poetry is going to be read by Colin in English, with Lena either translating or giving us a summary of what the poem is about. Christia is a poet, author, literary historian, painter who lives in, I meant to get the pronunciation for all of these sus before I came up here, Chernivtsi, where she serves as editor-in-chief of Chornevisti, the country's top publisher of children's books. She is the author of essay collections and 2 volumes of poetry, as well as the co-author of several anthologies. So Colin and Lena, if you would come up and share some of Christia's poetry with us, that would be fab.
This is a translation from Ukrainian by Kate Surkan and Dmitry Kian. When you take so many steps, that the wind changes, that the wind from the east changes direction, the only sign of life will be sand pouring from your lips and nostrils. Shaking hair from your face, you'll start to see that it grows out of you, like the fur of a wild beast or crow. That footsteps on the water become visible only on the shore, and loud sirens never hear their own scream. It will be difficult for you to walk without falling. You want someone to hold you, your hand, or at least a tobacco pipe in your mouth, stuffed with days and smoke. I know this path. It's not yours to walk alone. It's like in childhood, while playing, we couldn't crawl through our mother's legs in order to get back inside her.
Якщо коротко, то цей вірш про війну і дуже чуттєвий вірш про війну і про самотність. Самотність у війні. Це такі дуже чуттєві переживання поетеси і дуже такі метафоричні. Дякую.
Thank you. This one is outside, it's howling like howling dogs. Cold winds begin to live in separate flocks. They open the door of your house like terrible thoughts and crack the walls with a bang. Cold winds come with the smell of iron and anxiety. I haven't yet learned how to treat them. I still don't know how to deal with them, how to keep hold of them, how to make them leave. Sometimes water is brought to the doorsteps and dirt from other people's boots. Unpunished and undisguised, in the autumn they multiplied. Only no one comes close from so far, far. Only no one snatches off the covers at night, and so that between the folds of clothing between the folds of clothing Lena, do you want to give us an idea what it was about?
I would like to tell you short about what. So this poem, цей вірш, це більше про відчуття поетеси, як виглядає війна, її внутрішній стан, і це досить такий, знову ж таки, чуттєвий вірш, який розказує про її внутрішні переживання і про її внутрішні, глибокі переживання і її внутрішній стан, її переживання війни, власне. Дякую.
Thank you. We're extremely fortunate for us. The next poet is in the room. Her name is Natalia, and she was born and lived before the war in the beautiful UNESCO heritage city of Lviv. She graduated from medical college and received a degree in nursing, studied in Lublin, and worked as a nurse and as a teacher. Her hobbies are poetry and singing. She's written a number of poems and songs under the pseudonym Nata Svitla, and she has sung in church choirs in her hometown. Natalia is going to read her poems in Ukraine, and I'm going to read the translations.
Цей вірш був написаний тут, в Британії, коли я приїхала під час війни, і це як туга за моєю країною. А в нас вже не ніч, але ж пізня вечеря. На небі ще зовсім не видко зорів. Лиш марево сіро-рожевого килима накрило все небо британських портів. Лиш наша українська душа все не може вернутись до пристані нашого спільного дому, де наш соловей і де українські шпаки співають лякливу, сумну колискову крізь гуркіт снарядів чужої війни.
It's not even night, but dinner is late. The sky is still empty of stars, only the mirage of a grey and pink carpet covering the British ports. But our Ukrainian soul still cannot rest in its home, where the nightingales and Ukrainian starlings repeat a timid and dolorous lullaby across the rumble of a foreign wall.
Ще один вірш, написаний вже раніше, про кожну людську душу, про прагнення кожної душі людської. Кожна душа, наче квітка, прагне турботи, любові й тепла. Кожна омріяна чиста думка втілиться в твоє життя. Кожна людина є майстер, що налаштовує музику свого буття. Кожна душа, наче скрипка, грає мелодію свого буття. Кожне стурбоване, зранене серце прагне бути почутим Богом, тобою, життям.
is a rose, seeking care, love, and warmth. A desire springs through pure thought coming true in your life. A soul plays the melody of life's violin. Man is the master, setting the music of existence. A worried and inspired heart looking for God's mercy on your life. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. The next poet is Victoria Amelina. She's a novelist and poet who was born in Lviv in 1986. She's a member of PEN International. She spent some time as a young child in Canada but returned to Ukraine. The texts have been translated into Czech, Dutch, Polish, well, actually almost 20 languages. She, at the moment, lives in Kiev and works as a war crimes researcher. And I remember hearing this story being reported on the BBC in September 2022, doing her war crimes research in the Izium region. She uncovered the war diary of her fellow Ukrainian writer, Volodymyr Vakulenko, who had been killed by the occupying forces. So, Greg, would you like to pop up and read this? The first one, anyway.
A poem about the poet's death by Victoria Amelina. When a poet is shot dead, readers ask his colleagues, "Can you please write a poem about the poet's death?" The poem should start with love, maybe go through some death, turning fear into fury, but in a couple of lines, inevitably return to love, as love should always prevail, at least in poetry. The surviving poets listen, standing around the grave like King Arthur's knights, thinking of the Holy Grail of literature, having their words ready like swords for love. And then something changes. Another bombing begins, or it begins to snow. So silently, as if the world was written only by the dead poet. The other poets have quit. Thank you.
Цей вірш був про смерть поета, про духовну смерть і про те, як важлива любов у житті кожного поета, що без цього відчуття любові поету і творчій людині дуже важко творити. Тому Вікторія говорить про те, що це найголовніше почуття, яке надає людині крила і допомагає творити і перемагати всі труднощі, що б то не було в нашому житті. Дякую.
This is the homecoming story, also by Victoria. When Mira left home, she took a bead from her jewellery box. When Tim was leaving his town, he picked up a rock from the street. When Yaka was leaving her garden, she took an apricot pit. When Vera was leaving home, she took nothing. "I'll be back soon," she muttered, and took nothing at all. Mira has grown a jewellery box from her bead. She's growing a new home. She's growing a new home in the box. Tim has started a city from his rock. It looks just like his hometown, except there's no sea. Yaka has planted their apricot pit. Now she has an orchard around it. And Vera, who took nothing at all, she's telling the story. When you're fleeing your home, she says, Behind your back it gets smaller to save itself. Your home can turn into a grey rock, a bead, a last year apricot pit, even a Lego pot, a seashell from Crimea, a sunflower seed, a button from your dad's uniform. When your home fits in your pocket, then there it sleeps. Now, listen, you should pull your home out in a safe place when you're truly ready. Little by little, your home will grow, and you'll never be homeless. Remember, never. So what did you take with you, Vera? I took this homecoming story. Here, I pulled it out into the light. Little by little, the story is growing.
Okay, I'll try to read translation in Ukrainian. Історія для повернення. Коли Міра виходила з дому, взяла намистинку з шкатулки. Коли Тім виходив з міста, підняв камінчик на вулиці. Коли Ярка лишала сад, взяла кісточку абрикоси. Коли Віра виходила з дому, то не взяла нічого. Скоро я повернусь, сказала, і нічогісінько не взяла. Міра виростила шкатулку із намистини. Ростить новий дім в шкатулці. Тім почав нове місто з каменю. Місто схоже на рідне, тільки моря немає. Ярка посадила кісточку абрикоси, довкола кісточки сад став ярчим. А Віра, яка не взяла нічого, розказує цю історію. Коли тікаєш із дому, розповідає, Дім за спиною маліє, щоб берегтися. Дім обертається сірим камінчиком, намистиною, кісточкою минулорічної абрикоси, скельцем, що коле долоню усю дорогу, фігуркою Лего, мушлею з Криму, зернятком соняшника, гудзиком з татового мундира. Дім тоді поміщається до кишені, і там він спить. Дім слід витягати з кишені в безпечнішому місці, коли готовий. Дім помалу ростиме, і ти ніколи, запам'ятай, ніколи не будеш без свого дому. А що ти взяла з собою? Взяла лише цю історію про повернення. Ось витягнула на світло, і вона росте. Дякую.
Thank you so much, Nina, for doing that. Now, that's the end of the first half. We're going to take a break now, so you can get a drink of whatever you like, whatever they offer here at Leaf. The tea is fantastic, I can tell you that. I also want to point out, you've probably noticed, Victoria Amelina is wearing a combat jacket. You get the picture, you know how it works. Okay, so we'll see you after the break. Thank you.